Hello? One second, let me do some audio checks. Okay, can you guys hear me alright? Too quiet, you say? Alright. Is there any like feedback from the microphone? Like is the sound of the music replaying in the background or something or not? Actually, this is as far as it goes. Let me see if I can listen to myself. 1 second. Just so I know what that sounds like. One, two, three. Oh yeah, that's quite low. Let's see, maybe if I move it closer to my mouth, there we go. How are we feeling about this? Better, alright. Okay, just let me set up my bar because this is not a real character. I just put it at this level and gear just to test some stuff. Let's see, what do we need? We need our health potion. We need this. This is not useful, this food. This one is good to have. We have our skills. We have our main 1v1 and our AoE. We have this. Do we need any of these? I don't think we do. Nah, I don't think so. Alright. Why? I mean, if you've seen the post, I wrote down like an essay about it. Just because it's fun, I guess. Why not? Let's see. We need a party. So that we are 92, so we should probably go to Princess, I think. Let's check if our damage is decent. See if we can set up any filter. Put filter. Just we want everything for now. Oh, I don't have any scraps. That's a bit unfortunate. There's not like any seasonal stuff, so that wouldn't be anything like this. And let's go. This is the final UI. Yes, this is how it's always been. Really. Let's just check how much damage we do. 5k auto attacks. Okay. How about AoE? How much damage is this? Oh wait, I don't have any. I'm an idiot. I do want some stamina. Then the rest goes into int. bad. It's not amazing. My casting speed is really bad. It's just... Is my auto attack option enabled? Checking if I need anything else. No. Alright. We could probably use the amps as well. Let's look at some new ones. I don't think a leech will be necessary. You get enough EXP boost. I mean, I'm using the VIP, which is 25% EXP, and of course the amps will help, but I don't think you really need a leech. The experience is pretty fast. You can see the yellow bar at the bottom is how much EXP I'm getting. So it should be okay, to be honest. I've seen that you would allow Axe and Shield build to be played in PvP. Yeah, that's kind of the downside of the whole night thing. I think if you want to build a tank and you want also PvP, you're just gonna have to get one extra set of weapons to upgrade. It's only really the weapon, like sets. The sets will be the same anyway, because there's only one type of set, and you have the modifications which are separated by PvP and PvP anyway, so you'll have to get like an extra weapon, but that's about it. So, just gonna dismantle these. These can be... oh, we really want to get this, so I'm gonna save this one. This one we want to dismantle. Oh wait. My casting speed is really low at the moment, so it's kind of painful, but should be able to be okay if I got like a better set. Flyff sounds a little low. Oh yeah, sure. There we go. Should be fine this way. Is this better than what I have? Oh, it is better. So we can get the +9. And we can dismantle these. Don't really need all the other extra weapons. They don't sell for much Spania, but the scrap is nice to have. Oh, almost died there. I mean, I'm using level 60 set, so I'm taking a lot of damage at the moment, but if I were to get a better set, it should be a lot better. Oh, where's my gun skill? Oh, I saved. Can use the body skills as well. Is there a reason why we'll pay tank? It just makes it easier to tank for dungeons, I would say. At, especially like for the higher level dungeons, they do tend to do decent amount of damage, and well, you can tank them without a tank. Like if you just get like a full stamina ringmaster with HP gear, or like a build poster or something. It is doable, but knight just makes it easier. You don't even have to go like full tank knight, right? You can do like semi damage or something like that. Or just use the sword even and then just do that. Depends. The main benefit is that the shield has defensive stats. The weapon doesn't have defensive stats itself, the axe weapon. But the shield has, and then of course the defensive skills help a bit as well. And the HP ratio. You can solo the early dungeons pretty well, so Savage Wilds, Molten Arena, Midionica, those are pretty soloable. And then the slightly harder ones like Catacombs, you can solo with decent gear, but at the beginning I would say do it with like 2 or 3 people. Oh my god. I got too many guys there. I think if you get gear, like with enough gear you can probably eventually solo everything, but even like Cursed Animus I think is a bit too much. You have to get a lot of HP to survive that. Okay, let's organize some inventory while we're here. Get the better ring. See, do we get any more parts? No, I need genuine. Dismantle. Dismantle this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. What can we craft? Can we craft any better armors? How much is this gonna cost me? 75, I need this one. This is 15% casting speed. It's not very good. And to get, I need 12. I would really like the 25% casting speed. No, there's not going to be any seasonal things in the server. It's just like a regular server basically. No seasons. Let's get back out there. Don't need this. Oh, I forgot to spawn myself the beginner mount that you get for free. Oops. Oh well. Normally you get a mount for free as a starting item, but I forgot to give it to myself. This is here. Oh, never mind. Yeah. There we go. How do you make money? I would say while leveling, you don't really need to make money. Once you're at level 120, you can do the Crystal Mines dungeon, which is like a money dungeon basically that you can run without any cooldown. That will be the main way to make money. You can also farm like in Ezria and Forsaken Tower. There's like repeatable quests that give you some extra bonus loot for that. But I think the biggest way would be to do the Crystal Mines dungeon and get the bronze bars from that and the Penya. I think I can reach 120 probably tonight somewhere, and we can show it off a little bit as well. It'll be pretty difficult with my gear level, but oh my god. Yeah. I'm very weak at the moment, so I gotta be careful when I do this. No. Alright. So I did not die for once. I mean, maybe we should just 1v1 for a bit. If I had better casting speed, this would be decent, but my casting speed is just so slow. It's at like 36%. I mean, when can I upgrade my weapon? Legendary wand. 10% casting speed, that's even worse. Could go for some awakenings to see if I can get some casting speed maybe. I think I could probably make them automatically summon. That's something I could look at. It's not at the moment, but could be useful. I think when you teleport around, they usually get resummoned as well. Oh my god, this is way too risky. Okay, but yeah, that would be a nice quality of life thing to have them resummon. I would like to get an egg so I can get some pet leveling as well, but I don't have any. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I should have dismantled it. Can you show us the cash shop? I don't have a cash shop in game, I only have it on the website, so I cannot show it very easily at the moment. But the main thing that you can get from the cash shop is, of course, a variety of cosmetics, and then we have the VIP membership, which is what I'm using at the moment, which just gives me this gold name. The VIP membership has a bunch of different benefits. Oh my god, I'm not using my skill. I'm gonna die. So one of the benefits is like faster EXP. It has easier pinya pickups. It has the couple buffs. So if you have a couple leveled up, you don't need a second character online for the buffs to show. And if you use the buff command or use the buff bang, you can see here I'm getting the Ringmaster buffs, Protect and Spirit Blessing, because I have the VIP membership. I don't need an extra Ringmaster for that. You get like faster speed on like upgrading and like these kind of extra systems that don't really do that much. And one other big thing is you get slightly cheaper dungeon entries, so they cost 10% less energy. Aside from that, you can also get a scroll from the cash shop that gives you like a little bit higher drop rate, like 25%. You can also get it in game. It's a bit more difficult to get it in game, but that's like the other like big purchasable thing to kind of help your progression go faster. But you can't buy anything that gives like combat stats, let's say, to make you stronger in PvP or something like that. That's the main thing I try to avoid. Yeah, I'm gonna activate my pet. Get rid of that sunstone. I'm not making the class look very good, but just keep in mind that it's because of me, not because of the class. I hope. And of course, like with mages, the early game is going to feel a bit rough when you have low casting speed, but once you get to that 100% casting speed, you're going to be like having a great time. I need to wait for my cooldown. I can just do a little bit of hit and run here. Get this. There we go. This will also, if I get Demonic Grasp, I can do AoE route. This would really help my AoEing as well to keep them at range. Ah, nice, I did that one. Pocket. I need 4 parts, I think, before it's really worth swapping. But I got 2 of the 4 now. So that's good. Let's do that. What do you mean, can't set up my mic? I don't do this stream very often. I use this mic for Discord, and they don't complain when I use it on Discord. So it should be fine. Oh, I misused my food. I'll die again. Oh, I survived. Oh wait, we got an egg. Let's see if we can hatch it into something nice. Spend all the extra stuff. I mean, you can also just save them up and dismantle them all at once, but I like to do it between AoEs. I'm not the most efficient gamer, so don't blame me for that. Blink pool is a thing, but I think it's not on Psykeeper, or is it? Yeah, I think it's only on Elementals, and not on Psykeeper. So it's one of the changes in Emerald where not every class has the exact same skills. And Blink Pool is only in PvE, so you can't use it in PvP, of course. There we go. Up. I'm trying to put a bit close. I don't know how else I can boost the mic, because it's already max on OBS, but maybe I can check for next time. Apply a compressor or something. I don't know too much about the settings, because I don't do this very often. I mean, I can take a quick look. Filters. Oh, wait. I don't want to die. Properties. No, advanced properties. Okay, here. Mic. So if I can boost it even more, I think. 5 dB, maybe. All right. Yeah, maybe it just drifted a little bit. All right. Let's see. We're level 99, so we're doing pretty well. You generally want to be 120 at least before you attempt any dungeons. Although I would say it's best to do it at 120 master. But if you're brave, you can do it at 120, the easier ones. Although honestly, there's not that much benefit to doing them that early. Oh shit. It's easier. It's better just to level up all the way to the max level and then go for it. Elder. We should probably move up to the next monster soon as well. How many hours on average do you hit max level? So from when I played like more properly on a class I'm better at, it took me about 2 hours to go from 1 to 120, and then like another 3 to 4 hours maybe to get from 1 or like 60 master to 120 master. Maybe even less, depending on how much you amp. I had amps on like for most of it, but not the early beginning part. So I would say on average like 5 hours, maybe 6 to 7 if you're a bit slower. Um, if you have like all the EXP boosters available, then you can even do less, because if you get a guild, you'll get some EXP boost as well. The faction stuff also gives some EXP boost. So here, for example, I get PvE damage because our faction is losing. But if your faction is winning, you get EXP boost. But that's not something you can control that much. There's only one difficulty on the bosses at the moment. Yeah. So it's just all set. There's no scaling as well. So if you join with 2 people or with 8 people, the bosses will have the same amount of health. The damage usually is adjusted to like, for like what your HP is, but the HP of the bosses are kind of like set up based on what I expect people will run in groups. So for example, if you go to the dungeon menu here, there will be a character limit set, which is the amount of maximum people you can bring, but that's not always the recommended amount. So for these ones, this is a solo dungeon, so you can only do them alone. Molten Arena is also solo, you only do it alone. This one you can do it up to 3 people, but you can do it alone as well. And then both these ones, Animus and Catacombs, are 6, and then Cursed Animus is also 6. So you can do them with up to 6 people, but you could also do them with like 3 people, to be honest. If you have like one decent tank and a ringmaster and another DPS, you could probably clear it. Um, it just makes it faster to do it with 6 people, or it makes it really slow if you do it with 3 people. And then later on in the expansion, so these are the expansion dungeons. This one is more of a solo-oriented dungeon. You could do it with 4 people. These ones are also more like solo, small groups, and then there's some with 8, which is like the big endgame dungeons, and here as well. They all have 8, but you don't need 8. It's just if you have like a big group or you want to do the dungeon faster, you can do them with that many people. Where do I get amps? So there's the level up rewards, which you can check here in custom features. Which if you go along, we are level, so you get some at level 55, you get free, and then level 105 you get another free, and then at 120, that's right. But you also get these emerald tokens, and you can buy amps and other items with these emerald tokens. So the ones you get from the level up can give you some extra amps if you need them. And you can also earn these tokens by doing world bosses, killing giants, and some other things. So that's like the main way you could get amps, because in the previous version you would have to vote for them, but now the vote store is removed. So that's why you can get them now. More casual friendly. I don't know how you quantify casual friendly, I guess. I think there's definitely some systems in Emerald that are more like that reward you for grinding a lot, but there's less incentive to like make alt characters, I guess, which people in com wanted to do a lot. Now you don't need to do world boss for the amps, but you want it for the tokens because there's other good stuff in the token shop like sacred beads and other things. You don't need it for the amps. You should get enough amps just from the level up rewards and then also from the additional tokens depending on how fast or how often you level, I would say. And also when you use them, I guess. Like if you use them at the right time or the wrong time. Oh my god. Yeah. I would say it's really worth it because in addition to the tokens, you also get um, level up scrolls, upgrading protection scrolls, and you also get the potion for energy. Um, it yeah, and they basically spawn throughout the day, just so you get like some extra rewards. It's just to give like extra things to do for the people because there's not that many additional side content, I guess, in the server aside from just doing the dungeons. So when you're out of energy, the main thing you'll be doing is like PvP, world boss, maybe farm some penya in the mines. These will be like your main side activities. See if I can upgrade my wand a little bit, just so. Let's see, can we have? Oh, well, these are a bit expensive, I guess. That's never mind. No, there's a dedicated spawn location. So it's you go here in the teleporter. There's the Clockworks Arena, which is the first world boss. You can teleport to it, and he should be alive at the moment because there's no one to kill him. And then here he is, and he's gonna laser me. And as soon as he kills, like it says a 2-hour timer. As soon as he's killed, I mean, so it doesn't happen automatically in 2 hours. It just the timer starts whenever he gets defeated. Then he will respawn in 2 hours basically. So it kind of depends when the community also decides to defeat him. And if there's more than one world boss available, so there's now 3 because this is we're currently set up on the full expansion pack basically. Then there's basically a chance of which one will spawn out of the 3. So there's a 30% chance it will be this one or this one or this one. I mean, in any kind of server, you can always just permanently farm penya anyway. So that's a bit hard to say. Like, how would you judge something like that, right? because in any case, if you decide to just farm Penya all day in the repeatable dungeon or in the Inertia of Forsaken Tower, you know, that's always a thing you can do. Um, because if you don't have that, people will just make different characters, or you know, they don't know what to do afterwards. Basically, I keep forgetting to use the party skills. So there we go. We'll have some extra damage and some extra drops. Just doing some lazy leveling at the moment. Oh, we got a new shield. But it'll bring us oh, I'm not high enough level. Great. Well, the energy that you use for dungeons is shared across all your characters. So it's not like COM where every character has its own energy. So once you're 120 master, my recommendation is that you start with Savage Wilds and Crystal Mines. Those will be pretty difficult if you just have like 105 gear, like plus 3. Um, but the main thing you want to get here is these materials that are in like little crystals that you can kill next to the bosses. And with these materials you can craft the furniture, which is in here. On launch only the first tier will be available. And you'll probably need like 3 runs or so to get some of the furniture, and then you'll be set for the next week because they last 7 days. So you want to do a few of the mine runs to get the furniture. And then once you have those, you can get some critical chance, you get some casting speed, some attack, some health, some speed, and some PvE damage. So these are pretty important to get your stats up. And then I would say just do some mines, do some Savage Wilds to get some Penya. You can get some Penya from Savage Wilds too because they drop upgrade scrolls. And you want to get, you want to get the weapons, you want to get the jewelry. And then you also want to start doing Molten Arena for the Bloody Armors, which is like the main armor set of the launch version. So those 3 you can all do the solo. That's kind of where you start out, and once your gear get better, you'll like kind of go to the next tier of dungeons. I think clearing the world boss at the beginning at like minimum gear might be difficult, but I think if there's enough people together, probably should be okay to do it. I need to check if there's like a DPS requirement or not in world bosses. I need to check the code because it's been a while for that. And then you can join PvP instances as well. I mean, that's going to be a bit rough because the gear will be very differing from each other. So like PvPing in like the first few days of the server is going to be a bit like unbalanced because everyone will be on different versions of their gear. But as long as people get more gear, the PvP will be more active. Those should be like your main activities. You can also just go to farm in Azure or Forsaken Tower if you prefer doing that. There's repeatable quests that you can do there. If you kill like X amount of mammoths or SRS, you get some extra Penya and some extra tokens. But yeah, I think those would be like the main activities. There's a few other like smaller things. There's a few like special giants across Madrigal that you can kill. Things like that. But the main thing would be like the dungeons. And then the world bosses and then the PvP. And yeah, there's also faction stuff, but most of the faction logic comes in the first expansion because you need the faction dungeon to get lots of reputation. But I'm gonna make like a post about how all that works because it's a bit complicated, the faction things. So yeah, that's kind of my summary. the way how the energy thing works, um, I can't really explain the details because then people will find it easier to get around it. But the main concept is that you won't be able to just like have a bunch of alts to run dungeons with over and over, basically. Also, if you have two characters and then you join the same dungeon together, your energy is going to be deducted twice. So that's also not a smart idea to do. So you don't want to have like your own ringmaster and your own tank because then you're gonna pay twice for the single drops, basically. It's all kind of just like to prevent people too much from like spamming the characters because it's pretty easy to level up this kind of thing. Also makes it a bit more fair for everyone, I think. Let me just get rid of these gears, see if there's any Psykeeper parts. I think this is a Psykeeper part, yep. Alright, this one, we want to keep that. Alright, we need one more. We could probably just craft it, I think. How much scrap do we have? 100. I have... If we want to craft it, we need to make this one first, which is 25, and then we make this one, which is 50. Alright. Let's do that. So we equip these ones. We need the head, so we're gonna get to the crafting. Find the Ropeng helmet. Put this one, and then we need... Alright, and then we make the genuine helmet. We do have dedicated PvP food. You have to buy it in the NPC. It's like 125k per use, so you do have to pay for it. I need to check if you can use it only in Siege or in other places. Like you can use it everywhere, but I think it's deducted everywhere. But you do get like, I want to say around 100 mil or so per PvP instance, just from the reward and value. So you should be able to make back the cost you use pretty easily, I think. Just because of the red essence value has like NPC value that's pretty high as well. I cannot consider event rewards, so it's fine. I was going to do something else, but I forgot. Let me check the chat. Is there anything else? Is that auto text? Oh yeah. So I'm using at the moment just the side auto text because I can reply to things a bit easier without having to worry about dying to AoEs all the time. Demonology does more damage, but I have very low casting speed at the moment, so I think the auto attacks are like locked to 100% attack speed, which makes them a bit easier early on. But once I have more, if I had like max casting speed, then I would just spam the skill version instead. And yeah, the critical chance of mage attacks is based on the casting speed. Oh, actually I have max casting speed already, that's very nice. So maybe I should be okay then. If I just... yeah, it's pretty fast. I don't think it does because the PvP only happens like once every 2 to 3 hours. And you also have to score decently to get to the cap. The amount that I said was like the cap of the amount. I think you get around 75 to 100 red essence maximum, and that is about 75 mil worth of money. Can I do this without dying? And I think you get around, I would say about 4 million to 5 million per single Crystal Mines run, and it takes like a few minutes to do, especially at higher gear, so you can make a lot of penya pretty quickly in Emerald. That's pretty high rates in that sense. So we're just gonna make it so that everything is at least worth it in a while. Just at the beginning the penya will be very low, but Once you get to the dungeons, you'll notice that it's relatively decent income at least. I'm stuck on a rock. Alright, this is a lot better, but I can't see my health bar because of all the monster names, which is a bit difficult. Alright, let's focus for a bit so we can get some levels going. Ah! Oh. Hey, upgrade stone. That's not bad. Like the damage, yeah, it's. I also, if you like the old version more, we also have the. Well, it's not quite the old version, but it's similar to the old version. So we have classic damage numbers. Ah, I have to restart the game for it. The classic numbers are basically the same font, but with the colors changed to reflect magic and physical damage. But I like the new one. This is a Flyff font, by the way. This is used for like the duel countdown, like the 3 to 1 when you start a duel. So it's not like a custom thing, it's just from Flyff. I just reused it for something else. And I adapted the colors to match the damage, but that's about it. Can Blade equip double wand with critical damage build? No, because all the weapons are class locked, so you can't do that, unfortunately. I don't think there's any Vagrant equipable wands. Even the cosmetic ones, I believe, are all like set to Psykeeper or Magician specifically to avoid the blade thing. Because I know it was a thing in old Flyffs. Can we? Oh, I just read that. We are 103. If we get to 105, we can make our legendary wand. But I don't know if I have enough scrap for it. That's kind of a problem. Almost died there. Can we survive this? Yep. How much do we need for the legendary wand? 75. We have 27. Okay. Well, maybe soon. I should be making a guild, so I have some guild buffs, but I don't. I don't have the money, I think, for it. I could check if it's possible to do. I think it's like 100 mil to make a guild, so it's probably a bit expensive, but I need to check the NPC. Pretty much all like weapons and armor and jewelry you can dismantle for scrap, yeah, but not everything else. But all like the weapons and armor drops. So that's why you just want to pick up everything, and then you can press open the menu, and then anything you left right click, it gets automatically dismantled. So you just do it like this. And if it's upgraded, it won't allow you to do it, but otherwise you'll be just like spam it a bit, and there you go. And you'll be using scrap for like a long time all across the server, even at the beginning, even at the end. And later on for like more end game recipes, you're gonna need like 200, 500 scrap. So that's what also like the benefit of like farming in Asia Forsaken Tower is to like farm the scrap in addition to the penya, of course. Because, oh my god, because if you just farm crystal mines for penya, you're not going to get much scrap. So that's why you can also just farm in Forsaken Tower or Azure specifically to get scrap, because it is useful to have. We can probably just go to Mammoths, I think. Don't really need a rabbit, so I'm going to see if we can hatch a different pet Maybe get a fox. Oh, there's a floating rock here. I mean, floating tree. And once we get hit 1 of 5, we'll go to town, upgrade our weapons, get to legendary 1, and then take a look at some of the NPCs as well. Take a look at some of the prices if you guys want. I don't have a lot of penya at the moment, but that's because I just leveled up. I did miss a few opportunities to get money because there's some beginner quests that you can do that I just skipped in admin mode. But they will give you some silver and bronze bars to give you some starting money basically, and I skipped those. It also gives you this starting backpack or like cloak item. Technically it's called a backpack, but it's a cloak item. And it gives you 30% bonus EXP. You get it around level 75 when you finish the quest. So this is a recommended quest chain to do because it's very useful early on. Let's see if we can AoE a few of these without dying. Oh, they do a lot of damage, don't they? And I should not be using my food at the beginning every time. Maybe this is a more 1v1 angle, so we could try doing the action slot just like this. Oh yeah, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. It's not enough to kill a single one in one go. So I wonder if you can knock back things with critical auto attacks here. I don't think you do anymore, from what I can see now. Must have removed that a while ago. Oh well. Yeah, selling price. At least I don't have a lot of selling price at all. Oh, this just doesn't. This just doesn't give anything. I should probably remove that from the drop table if it doesn't give any stats. Hey, we're level 1 of 5. Alright. Let's go upgrade. In-game events. I'll probably prepare some things like a Halloween event, something like that. Maybe Christmas. Maybe something at the beginning, at like a launch, like a end of summer thing. If you're talking about like GM hosted events, probably not gonna do that. For now at least. Just gonna want to focus on fixing bugs and issues when the game launches, but I can at least prepare some of these like or automatic events, let's say. So one of the nice things about the weapon crafting in the early game is that the way you get like up to legendary is you simply make a guardian weapon and then you keep crafting it over and over, and it retains all the upgrades that you have. So for example, I will get some piercings here, just burn my money. Just okay, give me like 3 at least. Give me something, game. It's already +3, but then we go here, we put the thing. Wow, we got the +4, that's amazing. Where are the moonstones? Okay, that's decent. 3 is decent. And then we're gonna put some water cards in there. Yeah, I haven't looked on a specific end date yet, but it's either going to be 29 August or 5 September. It's one of these 2 days basically. I think I can say that much at least. Very unlikely it's not going to be one of those 2. Which one? I don't know quite yet. Okay, so I got my wand. I got some upgrades in it. Actually, can I awaken it too? 6 int. So then we're going to go to the crafting menu, and here we're going to go to the weapon. So there is a text here that will say this recipe will keep its upgrade. So this is important to keep in mind because not every recipe will do this. So that's why you want to know. So we're gonna put it in here, and it's gonna show you what the result will be. So you can see all the upgrades will be transferred into my legendary version, and then we're gonna make it, and then we have our legendary wand. Very nice. So, what can you buy from the NPC? So we have here the standard premium NPC. I'm very poor, so everything is very red. Some endgame gear, yes, but not most of it, not except for like at the very end, basically. So in the last expansion, there will be these dormant and iceborne weapons, and then there'll be like the enchanted version. And these are like the very, very last weapons of the entire server, basically. And you can get the dormant weapons, and then you can start upgrading them. And then once you craft the enchanted version, all the upgrades will be kept. But for other crafts, for example, um, when you want to get like the um, behemoth weapons, you need like an existing Dreams and Cove weapon, but it's just a fresh craft. There's no like retainment. So if you have like a Cove weapon, it doesn't transfer. Also, these are not ultimate, and this is ultimate. So these don't transfer. The same for ancient weapons. You need a vampire weapon for an ancient weapon, but they don't transfer any upgrades. You can also drop these directly. And there should be a VOD, but that's only, I think it's only going to keep for like 7 days, so don't take too long to watch it. The same for like bloody weapons. Like you can turn a regular bloody into an ultimate bloody, but it does not keep the upgrades because it's very cheap to get a plus 10 regular weapon, but a plus 10 ultimate is of course expensive. So you cannot transfer the upgrades in the same way. So most things they do not transfer, but some do. So just keep in mind to check before you do. So one of the main things you can buy is of course tickets to Ezria. Generally speaking, you don't really need those as often just for leveling, but if you want to do extra farming, you need the tickets there. You can get like the usual scrolls for like party skills, stacking, red scroll, full shout, upgrade stones, guild eel, and then holy scrolls, and then a restat is 1.5 mil. You can get the level reduction scrolls, but I don't think this is very needed to be honest. Probably might even remove these. These are like transferring some faction types, so you can transfer to a different faction. There's a cooldown to doing this, and it's quite expensive, but this is in case for whatever reason you switch guilds or something and your guild is like in one faction and you all want to be together in the same faction. This doesn't really affect that many things, but sometimes it's nice to just be in the same one. And you can buy a 24-hour AFK vendor. I think you can also buy this in the cash shop for longer. This is just the 24-hour version. You can also just have a vendor character if you want to spend money on it. This is just some flying fuel you can get as like a little bonus, but it's just very cheap. You can change the element. This is also pretty standard, and this is to get to Tricia for leveling up to 120 and beyond. These would be like the main things you can spend penny on. You can also buy some crafting potions here. So these are 1 million, and you need these to make the flasks, and you don't need them, well you need them for the potions as well, and the elixirs, and you also need some dungeon recipes for these elixirs. You can also get these elixirs from the PvP shop. So we have the PvP shop here. There's a bunch of cosmetics you can get. This is all cosmetic items, weapons. I think these are buff or picker pets, so just picker pets, not buff pets. And then you have a PvP cloak that you can get, a expensive PvP cloak, let's say, and a cheap PvP cloak. So there's the one with low stats. you get like a decent amount of money, like I said, like 3 to 4 million per run on the crystal mines. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes. These are all like PvP related fashions, so this is like standard fashion for PvP. It gives some stats. You can also buy all the elixirs. You get a siege bundle which has some remantis for PvP, and some elixirs, and then some other scrolls, unbinding scroll, which you can also get in all places. These scrolls you can also get in Cursed Animus, and these you can also get from a NPC somewhere, I think. And then at the pill shop you can get the PvP Remantis, you can get some high healing foods. There's also the food shop over here. This is the faction hub, so here you can pick up some faction related quests as well. Here you can get your usual food items, so seafood pizza is I think the best buyable food, but it goes per tier, and then you have to drop or craft the potion of healing. You can also do some faction things here at these guys. So you can exchange, if you want to get a drop scroll, for example, the crates, you can get these here from faction tokens. These are mostly farmable with the expansion, not at the launch as much. And then there's the pet tamer. You can get also the pet scrolls here. You can get a picker pet. If you're lucky, you can get the picker pet from the mysterious bag, which drops from any monster. I just got one earlier. And then you can also get the buff pet upgrade for the beads. So the upgrade itself is pretty cheap, but then all the keys are kind of expensive to unlock them fully. Oh, and it also sells all the beads, of course, which last 7 days, but you can stack them together. And then here you can spend your emerald tokens. You can get pet revivals. You can get Remantis. Get some amps, upgrade stones, eel. This will be removed, velocity scroll, because it's no longer needed. It's going to be automatic in the code. You can also get a vendor here. You can get some crates. These have fashions, cosmetics, and consumables for boosters. You can get some expensive buff pets. You can get some sacred beads. These are pretty good to have, and a bunch of like fashion stuff. And also this is a very expensive mask, but it would be a very good one to have. If you can buy this, it will probably last you until like the last expansion, but it is quite expensive. And then we also have one small NPC for the secret room, which gives these secret flowers. The main thing you can buy from here is picker pet awakenings. They're not super strong, or you can get a bunch of Remantis from it. You can also get the better version of the cosmetics and power upgrade. And the big reward is of course the 7-day VIP, which you can get if you win the secret room, or if you do like 2 secret rooms together, but it costs the exact amount of flowers you earn for winning basically. So if you clear everything and win secret room, you get 150 flowers. So everyone who participated and won from your guild can get a week of free VIP, otherwise you have to pay for it. And then the last one is the upgrade scroll. So we have regular upgrade, piercing upgrade, awakening for raised pets, discovering a weapon grade, not super useful early on, upgrading jewelry, and then this is like ultimate and end game upgrades. But you also get these upgrade scrolls from world bosses. So for example, from the world boss you will get a bunch of tokens, usually around 10 to 30 per kill. Same for the scrolls, you'll get about 10 to 30 per kill. You'll get the copper bars, which can be sold to the NPC, and then of course the potion, which gives you 100 or 50 energy. I don't know what an awakening shard is. I don't think that's something I have. But yeah, those are like the main overview of kind of what you can expect. The laser doesn't unlock until like hero, which I don't have at the moment. I want to see if I can get some awakenings to get my gear. I don't need much more casting speed, which is nice. So I guess I can try to get some more int. I'll take it. Don't have much money at the moment, so Alright, I guess I've probably got rid of the shield that I was supposed to wear. Alright, there's also some exchange here. I think this I'll probably be removing because I don't want A cards to be available, so ignore this. You can also do this. This I think probably also needs to be removed because it's not very useful because you can buy them with Penya. This is all different events that might run, so that's I have to recheck that as well. And then I just crafting this shutting. Oh, I completed a quest. Hey, stamina flasks. And here you can see like the challenges for basically repeatable repeatable quests that you can do over and over. So you can choose to do Asuras, or you can do mammoths or cannibal mammoths. And basically what you have to do is if you kill 1000 of them, you get 2 silver bars and 10 tokens. And you can do this on repeat as much as you want. If it's really worth doing, to be honest, it's kind of up to the players to figure out what is more efficient, but it's just an option for you to do. Awakening sheet. For the awakening sheet, I just say look at the colors of the awakening, because the higher value, the different the color is. That's kind of all the guide you're gonna get. So the party skills are adjusted here, so you don't need more people in the party for better effects, so they don't scale with party size. You do need the red scroll if you want everyone to get the benefit without being near you, so that's still the same. What they do is, this one gives you 15% increased damage just for having it active. And then Lucky Drops gives you 5% drop luck, and then Gift Box gives you another 10%, so with both of them combined you'll have 15% higher chance to drop certain items basically. And then 15% extra damage, which is pretty good. And it's very easy to make a party, very easy to level up, so you probably want to just do this always, really. There's no reason not to have them. You need a party for dungeons anyway, but you can level them up alone, you can create a party alone, you can stay in a party alone. But if I disconnect or crash, for example, I might lose my party, but it's back to level 40 in no time. And the drops are IP based, or at least like checked, so you can't use multiple characters to get more drops. At least for things like dungeons and world bosses, it's set up like that. Alright, so now we have our ranged route. Let's see if that's decent. I still have to kill him in melee range, but that's fine. Less? Nah. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. So here it is. Okay, that's pretty good. Decent, but not super useful, because I still have to kill them. See if we can root them and then kill them from like a small range, maybe. This works. Ah, my heal is on 5 now. Let's put it here, I guess. Not here. Here. So that's decent, but it's, you have to kind of figure out how you want to use all that together properly. Is my attack speed? It feels a bit low. Oh my god. No, you can only switch your weapon in Siege. Oh, okay, I didn't know I just revived here. That's interesting. So we do have a macro switch here. So you can only set up your weapon and shield offhand, basically. You cannot swap jewelry, you cannot swap suits, you cannot swap fashion, you cannot swap mask. You cannot swap your pets either, but you can activate your pickup pet or bev pet. But once it's activated, you can't unswap it until you die. What I might do is add the thing where if you swap, you automatically heal as an option, like we have in Chronicles as well. I think that would be a nice quality of life to have. So I might look at that, but aside from that, yeah, you only have to swap your weapon and you get the PvP HP swap weapon for free at the NPC as well. So that should make it relatively easy to not have to swap too many items and not as expensive to PvP. It's really hard to do this. They can still attack me even if I root it, so it's still risky. I have not played Psykeeper until now, basically, so if I'm a bit rusty at like the leveling up, that's because this is the first time I'm basically playing Psykeeper again after 4 years. I've played some other classes, but I have not got around to playing every single class properly yet, which is why I'm doing the stream also to kind of see like how they feel and how strong they are. I mean, during the leveling phase, the strength of the classes will be a bit more varied. It should even out more as gear gets higher, but I've got my pet as well. In PvE, the balance of characters is a bit more like open-ended, let's say. But in PvP, it's a bit more like adjusted, that's equalized. But it's also because in PvE, different monsters have different resists. So you might do like 50k damage on one boss and then the next boss you do like 30k damage, right? Because they have different amount of resists, or you have different amount of damage penetration. So keep that in mind when like you're dealing with PvE things. Oh, another mysterious bag. Ah, we got a doggy. That's good. It's a permanent pet, so that saves me like 50 mil. Well, yeah, because I can even sell to the NPC for like 12 mil if I needed money in a dire situation. So that's pretty nice. So if you're lucky, you can save yourself some money there. Otherwise, you just have to buy them from the NPC. And you know, I think it's nice that it also has some like sellback value. It's a little bonus. It's not like that much money, but it's like early on it's actually kind of nice to have. So we might actually try to just add some more stamina because I don't feel like dying that much. I'm also running low on food, I noticed. So we might have to go back to town. Also my amps ran out. Oh my god. It's just everything at once. Oh my god, my health is drained. I will probably stream some other classes as well. Yeah, I think I'll do some more streams tomorrow and maybe tonight after my dinner. You can sell items to the NPC, but they give like 30 to 100k. Which I would say is not really worth it, but like let's say I sell everything, for example, right? I mean, it's okay. Like it's an option, but I would say it's not the main way to make money. Because especially once you unlock crystal mines, the weapons don't give that much. The ones that do give a decent amount is maybe the dungeon weapons, but like this one doesn't say. But like the blue weapons, it doesn't add that much. Can we see the faction battlegrounds map? Is it open? It doesn't open until tomorrow, and I don't think I'm high enough level, so at the moment I can't show it to you yet. What does it get for world bosses? What do you mean with like cap? Like what level you need for it, or you mean like the the drops it gives, or what do you mean? What? How much health do I have? Like 12k health, so I don't actually need that much high level food. We can just. That's too much. We can get like 50 food. Wow, that's kind of depressing. Selling that doggy to the NPC is becoming quite attractive looking. What level? So I think you probably need like a minimum amount of DPS or having DPS'd it for a certain amount of time. I know there's something like that in place. I will need to check the code to make sure I can teleport when I'm in the mount. Uh, it does that sometimes. It's Flyff. But I would say that like once you're level 120 master and you have like some basic Lusaka and bloody gear, it's probably okay to start attempting the world boss. As long as he doesn't one-shot you and you dodge the mechanics, you should be okay. I mean, even if you want, you can just revive and go back to him. I mean, it should be just standard frame rate. I mean, it's just we don't have any unlocked frame rate, so it's just like the default Flyff 63 FPS basically. So yeah, I think pulling with this is better now because it does so much more damage. And then we do this, and then we do this, and then we do this. Then we grief our food again. Oh, I could probably make my set at least +3 because that's pretty much free to do. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't think hit and run Elementor is that effective because you have like one skill to do. You can hit and run pretty decently on Elementor and also Ringmaster from what I've played before, if that's like your style. Maybe on Ranger too because they have a slow. You do need good speed because Elementor doesn't have any slows in their kit, but they do have a stun and a blind. And for Ringmaster, they don't have any slow either, but if you're fast enough with the range, you can do it. But as you can see, this is far from effective. Oh my god, I'm just very weak at the moment. Let's just get rid of all this. No, I think we have enough eggs for now, so just gonna stop picking them up. Let's make this at least +3, maybe it will help us a little bit. You can change class here, but it doesn't have the gear conversion thing that we have in Madrigal. And it is also a paid only thing. But you can change it. It will keep your faction and your couple level basically. That's the main benefit. It's not super worth doing at like 120, but like once you're at like 150 hero, maybe it's worth doing. But yeah, so it is technically possible, but there's no gear conversion, so it's not very appealing, I would say. Because it is relatively easy just to level up a new character. It's just annoying to do the couple level again, and at higher levels, the faction level is quite grindy as well. So that one is like one you probably want to keep the most. But for 120, you don't need it that much. Okay, we got a tiger. Not useful. Unbinding, yes, we have unbindings. They have to either be bought from the cash shop or you can get them with red essence for like a very expensive amount. Um, so you can get them, but they're a little bit of expensive. They're kind of a luxury to have because you're not really meant to unbind and trade your items that much. So that's why it's kind of expensive. But it is there as an option. I mean, if I'm doing this, I might as well just grab like a ton of guys, right? So I can just get all of them. Loop them up a little bit. This is not very effective, to be honest. Oh, and I messed up. Yeah, so you still need a couple character to level it up, but with the premium you don't need to have it online all the time to get the buffs. It also levels up faster if you have the VIP. That's 50% faster leveling. So you need at the beginning to have it leveled up, or you level up with a friend or something. But then once you have the level, you'll always get the bonus. Let's go back again. So you're trying to figure out how to level up effectively with this character. Maybe just 1v1ing is the way for now, just because it's a bit easier. Let's see, can we 1v1 the cannibals? And it's a bit too much. It's a little bit too tanky still for me. The level reduction from the level difference is just a bit too high. I guess we can use some more consumables, so we used our last amps. Let's use the event upcut stone. We'll keep the rest because it's not very so I think we're gonna do 1v1 leveling for now because it's just a bit easier to manage. How long does it take to level up the couple? I don't know, honestly. I have not timed it recently. It probably takes you a few days, probably. I think it's more, yeah. So the way the element system works is different in Emerald. I can explain it briefly. So instead of monsters having elements and then you using the element on your weapon, whenever you apply an element to your weapon, so for example, let me check my skills real quick. So Demonology is wind and Psychic Blast is fire. So wind element, I think we go, I think we need to go earth then. So for example, let me see if this is correct. I might pick the wrong element here. So I put earth on the wand. So whenever I attack the enemy with the wand, it will become debuffed with earth. So now you see here, it's recently attacked by earth. It's now extra vulnerable to wind attacks. So anytime I do wind damage to this monster now, it will gain bonus damage. Because it's level +3, it's not that much, so I can do a quick little test just to see what it actually is. Let's see, without the debuff I do 17.5, so I apply the debuff, now I do 18k damage. So I gained like 500 damage from doing that. The higher your upgrade is on the earth, the higher the debuff will be. And your skills will also apply elements by default. Well, some do, some don't. So in this case, the bomb applies wind and then the blast applies fire. So when you do like the bombs, let's say you're on a boss, you do the bombs, you apply wind, and then whenever you do the blast, you apply fire. which then gets benefit from the wind debuff. And then if you, let's say you put either earth on your wand to combo with the bombs, or you can put water on your wand. So each class kind of has like their own little elemental combo built in the skills, and then which element you put on the weapon kind of go. And other people can also use it, for example. So if you put earth on your wand, you give earth debuff. If someone else has like wind attacks, they benefit from that as well. Or if they do a skill with wind, then you get benefit from that as well when you do your fire attack. So it works together with other people. The person who applies the debuff is like the level of the buff. I don't know for sure how it works if like you apply a low level debuff, then someone else applies like a higher level if it's going to override. That might be like a code thing I need to check, but for now just assume that the first person who applies it is the one who like determines the level. There's 3 levels of bonus. It's between +1 and +10 is level 1, and then +11 up to +19 is +2, level 2 basically, and then at +20 you get the highest bonus amount. So that's how the element system works, and I think you cannot do element on suits. Let me just double check to confirm. Yeah, so there's no suit elements anymore, no like defense from elemental bonus based on the bosses. So monsters don't do elemental damage, and in PvP all the elemental stuff is disabled as well, just to simplify things. So yeah, that's kind of how it works, which is a pretty fun system. It's not super like in depth, because like by the time you get like 2 or 3 people in a party, you'll have like every element on it all the time, so you'll always have 3 bonus damage. But there's a few little like small combos that you can do that are just fun to have, I guess. It's kind of fun to be like, oh look, I'm doing a combo. So that's how it works. So you can get upgrade scrolls in different places. A big one is the world bosses. So from a world boss you get one of each of the default upgrade scrolls. You get 10 of them. Well, you get a range between 1 of 10 at random. And then based on your DPS, like your DPS contribution to the boss, you can get up to 25 extra. So the more damage you do to the world boss, you get more of these scrolls, basically. So they're a good way to get more of them. And it's capped at like 25 bonus, so you'll get anywhere between 1 and 35 like maximum, basically. But if you do a lot of damage, it's basically between like 25 and 35. But then in addition to that, like Savage Wilds will drop S Protect and A Protect because you get jewelry and weapons here in small amounts, like 3 to 5 per run or something like that. You can get some S Protect in Molten Arena, you can get some G Protects, S Protect and A Protects in Red Meteor Niker. So you can get like, you can get X Protects here. You also get bars in these dungeons. So while you do the dungeons as well, you will basically get things that normally cost you money or give you money. So you basically need to farm less Penya if you focus on doing the dungeons, but of course dungeons are limited by energy, so you can only do so many of them every day. But just to make the dungeons more rewarding, you always get something of value at least, even if you don't get the drop, because the drop chances are relatively low-ish, I guess. I would say getting a dedicated tank and healer would just make your life a lot easier. You can definitely get away with just having like a healer that's also your tank. You can do a tank without a healer and they just have to use more food. Or you can do a healer and a tank and it's just like the golden combination. The way the aggro works on bosses is that once you aggro a boss, it will keep aggro on that same character until the character dies. So there's no aggro switching unless you're like kiting the boss. So you'll want like one dedicated character at least somewhat more tanky than the others to be able to tank the hits. Now that doesn't always mean that you need like a full stamina, full HP cards character all the time. Just someone who is more tanky than usual. Maybe someone resets to full stamina but keeps their like damage cards and everything like that. Or you decide to build like a dedicated tank character. You can have your choices there. It kind of depends on what dungeon you're doing. If you're doing like a solo dungeon, your regular damage gear should be enough to survive. Um, Maybe you'll want to use like a grilled eel or something like that, or maybe stat some stamina. If you go like full int or full dex, you'll be a bit squishy. But if you have like 50 to like 75, maybe 100 stamina on any regular character, that will get you pretty decent in like the solo dungeons. So you kind of have to play around and see what you feel comfortable with. If you prefer using consumables or prefer statting more stamina, it kind of depends on how you wanna approach that, I guess. You can kill everything, but it is not required now. There's no like um, dungeon objectives, I would say. So I would say at the beginning it's pretty difficult to do everything. You maybe want to just like do the first boss or the second boss and then bail out because the last boss does more damage than the first two bosses. Or maybe do like one or two groups and then go out again. Maybe you just run through, you do only the little level 1 crystals for the materials and then you go out again. It kind of depends on your gear and how you want to approach that. For like other dungeons like Savage Wilds or Eminus, you only have to kill like the totems or the mini bosses. You don't have to clear all the red monsters. You can clear them of course for some extra drops or some extra penya, whatever. They're all going to be like aggro, so you're going to have them on you in most cases. But you don't have to kill the swarm monsters to then trigger the boss to spawn. Only the main bosses basically. So in theory you can get a acrobat and dark illusion around, skip some of the monsters and then just do the bosses instead. That is doable as well. If that's the way you want to do it. I mean, knights are very good to have. So they're definitely a popular class at the beginning of in original Emerald. Of course, the PvE balance is a bit different, so I think it will depend on how things go. But my assumption is by default most people will already prepare a knight anyway and be used to the idea that they need a knight for dungeons. Even if it's going to be a little bit overkill, but you know. It's better to be too tanky and not die than to not be tanky enough and realize you made a mistake, I guess. So I can see why people might wanna get a knight just because they know. But I was able to, me and someone else were able to duo up to regular Eminus. How do you say this? Yeah, Eminus. And Catacombs as well with just a Ringmaster and a Ranger. And I just went full stamina Ringmaster and I was able to heal myself up fine. And I'd had like +6 bloody gear with no HP cards, no HP cards on the suit or in the weapons. I just used like the HP flask and the grilled eel and I was able to tank with pretty medium gear, honestly. It was a bit like dicey once in a while, like we still died a few times. But the big one is the cursed dungeon. That one is a lot difficult. That one just one-shot me right away. But yeah, the other stuff is relatively tankable. Any plans on releasing new class? I don't think so, no. I don't really have any assets to make a new class, or if I had, I would save that for magical for sure, because I think there's more potential to make interesting new classes on magical than on emerald. How much dungeon runs can be done per one day? So you get 1000 energy every day. the cost of dungeons is shared across that. So it depends on how you distribute your um, energy. So you get more than 1000 energy a day technically, but there's a post on the Discord that explains all that in detail. You recover energy slowly throughout the day. But for example, right, I can do Savage Wilds. It's very cheap at the moment because we're on the third expansion. Uh, a normal cost for a dungeon would be like Inner Forest or Outer Forest. Outer Forest is cooldown dungeon. So Inner Forest is like an endgame dungeon that you would do with a team. This one has a base cost of 250 because of the VIP. I get a 10% discount, so it costs me 225. So I could do this 4 times for my dungeon energy. But I could also do this one 2 times and do Icy Peak 2 times. Or I could do Icy Peak 5 times if I just want the PvP weapon first. Because Icy Peak is where you get the PvP weapon. Inner Forest is where you get the PvE weapon. This is all like 150 expansion content, by the way. That's why you're seeing all this high level stuff. Or I can do Emerald Hive. I can do 2 of these and 2 Inner Forest. So I can do maybe like 3 Hecate's Tomb and like 1 Inner Forest, wait for some regeneration, or use a potion or 2 from the world bosses. So it depends how you use your energy. That's also a little tutorial here. I need to update this. Oh, actually, it's already updated. Yeah. Yeah, there's some in-game guides that also pop up that help you once in a while with some default information. So at 110 we can technically enter dungeons now with the level, but my power level I don't think is high enough to really do that because I'm going to get hit by damage penalties because of the level difference. I would like to at least be level 115 before I attempt any dungeon, just to make it easier. So for PvE DPS, I don't have a DPS ranking at the moment, but the balance of PvE is based on the last version of V2. So I would say that they're reasonably within each other. It's probably not as close as it would be on Madrigal, because the balance is a lot more tight on that server. In here, like how much DPS you do can vary a lot depending on your build and what you're doing. But I would say that as long as I think every class has their benefits, have their purposes, and have their like strengths and weaknesses. So that's like the main thing I want to focus on. Because even if your PvE DPS is a bit lower, if you have very strong debuffs or team utility, that's like something to think about as well. So that's kind of how I approach that. Of course, if there's something that's like extremely out of balance and people report it, then we can always make adjustments there. But given that it's based on the old version of Emeralds, it should be already at a decent state without too much troublesome things happening. So we got another Azure ticket. Yeah, that's fine. Is the level 105 set decent? More magical damage, less intelligence by 2, less casting speed by 10, but I'm at 109, so that's actually acceptable. And 4% attack. You know, it's decent enough for me to want to go for it, I think. Do we have any other parts for it? No. Not yet, I think. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Sure. Sure, indeed. I don't have an egg for... Oh, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to Is it attached there? Yeah. I need to remember to use these. So 12k for auto attacks and 18k for bombs. So that's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, the auto attacks are not really meant to be like the main DPS of Psykeeper. It's more of like a fun side thing. They are decent at like low level, but at this point you should be using the skills really. I mean, it's nice if you get silenced and you have the Holy Scroll, you can use these auto attacks. Oh, this is a D grade. 22k. Now it doesn't really sell to NPC at all. I mean, the 100k is decent. But yeah, I might adjust because these are a bit more expensive. I think they're supposed to be a bit cheaper than that. I might have to adjust some of the prices. But this is Dex and Strength. Same like that, so it doesn't matter. Dismantle that. I mean, we could probably go to Cannibals by now. I mean, there's an 8 level difference. This is a bit high, but maybe doable. Was there no music? It's the name of the bell music. There we go. So there's at least some background music if I don't say anything. Which classes do I love the most? It's a bit hard to say because I haven't recently played all the classes yet. I think Ringmaster is pretty fun to play because it has a lot of unique skills, but the AoE with the cooldown is a bit tricky to get used to. I enjoyed the elemental leveling that I did recently, a few days ago, well, like a week ago or so. With the combo, I might show that off tomorrow, because I haven't continued the elemental leveling yet. I got to like level 90 or something, and then I lost my character because I had to do a database thing. So that was pretty nice. I think Knight and Blade, they're pretty good for just like auto attacking. They have some pretty cool skills later on. At least Knight has some pretty cool skills later on. Blade doesn't have that many interesting skills personally, but they're just like fun to use auto attacks. Aside from that, I mean Ranger. If you like Ranger, Ranger's pretty decent, but Ranger's the most similar to E5 in terms of like gameplay, because it has like the AoE rotation. That's kind of the same. The only new thing on Ranger is really the quiver system, which is pretty interesting, but it's mostly just auto attack modifiers, so you know. So yeah, build post is also kind of fun because of the combinations you can do. But yeah, I think in general, if you like playing the class in original Flyff, or just like playing the class in general, it should be very similar in Emerald, just with like some new quirks or combinations. That's how I would say. I think the classes are more closer to the original versions than they are like in Madrigal. But there are a bunch of things in Madrigal that are just directly copied from Emerald or directly inspired from Emerald in this terms of the class kits, let's say. So that's fair. Oh yeah, not everyone has played Combo. That's fair as well. But yeah, I think Ringmaster is a very nice starting art class because you can deal damage, you can heal yourself, you can heal others, you can do tanking semi-decently, let's say. You don't do a lot of 1v1 DPS, so you're a bit slow with everything. So you're like, your damage is, you can do damage, but you don't get do that much consistent damage. So your AoE clear is a bit slow, your 1v1 is a bit slow, but your buffs are really good. You don't need to have VIP, for example. So that's kind of like the budget class, I would say. Otherwise, mage classes are pretty decent at the beginning. I would say Elementor is a bit easier to do than Psykeeper, just based on my personal experience. So with Elementor you have ranged AoEs, and with Psykeeper you'll have the melee AoE, so it's a bit trickier, as you saw in the stream of me dying a lot, to play Psykeeper as effectively, but I think Psykeeper has a lot better 1v1 DPS with the bombs compared to Elementor, so that's also kind of the choice there. If you like AoE farming more, then Elementor is definitely better. If you see yourself doing more dungeons, then I think Psykeeper is probably better because you also have this 20% or 20 magic resist debuff, which is very strong. It also buffs up your Ringmasters and your Elementors for you. So, and then later on in the expansion, it has the laser, which is very cool and fun to play. But it's maybe a bit more annoying to level up before you reach 120. So there's definitely a few classes that feel a bit weaker before the expansion, and then once they get to the 135 expansion, you get all the cool hero skills and you really like unlock a lot of potential. But it also kind of depends on what kind of vibe you prefer, because some people like the more basic thing. I removed the wiki from the website because it's not working properly and kind of out of date. So I don't feel like fixing it up at the moment. I mean, it's not out of date with the data, but like it just doesn't show you the data correctly, which is the problem. Ranger is mostly one-on-one for at least like dungeons. You have some supplementary skills that like debuff or CC enemies. The AoEing is only really, the skilling is only really for AoE, I would say. For dungeons, for 1v1 and for PvP, you'll be mostly using debuffs, self buffs, and then auto attacks. Yeah, pretty much. Well, the difference is that once they hit the expansion, you get Eagle, Condor, or like Condor AoE basically. You get Tribalista, which is a very strong 1v1 skill. Not spammable, but so with the expansion they get a bit more skills to their ability. But the special thing about Ranger is the quiver system, which is basically it adjusts your auto attacks based on what quiver you're wearing. So you can have one that makes your auto attacks do AoE damage. You can have one quiver that makes your third attack deal 50% more damage. You have one quiver that like debuffs the target. That's kind of like Ranger's specialty. So it's a lot of auto attack related things. There's no cooldown reduction related like skills or logic in the server now. It's not something that is supported by the technology at the moment. One thing we do have is you can able to ground target your skills. I don't know if it still works properly, but if I enable this, instead of doing the psychic blast just anywhere, or like on a target, I can press it and then I get like a little indicator here, and I can be like, oh, I want to cast it here, and then I cast it over there. So that's one of the new things I added in Emerald. I don't know how useful it is, but I think for Elemental this could be interesting. But yeah, if you're having trouble with like targeting, if you have a target active and you cast it, it will still go to the target by default. So that will be like a priority thing. But if you have no target available, you click it, you can click it anywhere. If you click it like out of range, it will, I think, just not cast it. So if you click here, for example, I'm clicking at the moment, nothing will happen. But if it's in range, I will cast it. Maybe I can make it so that it like moves you to that place and then casts, but I don't know. I need to check the logic. I don't know if it's active in PvP, but maybe it can be used in PvP actually. That's a good point. It might be nice for PvP if it works. I would have to check if it's enabled. But so you can do some reason like I'll take these and boom. So yeah, if that's something you want to try out, could be fun. It's kind of just like a little like quirky thing I built at one point. Well, honestly speaking, I took it from Magma Flyff, but we don't talk about that. Hello, Mr. Ulowai. We have a VIP in the chat. Amazing. Nice, we did that. I don't need to do this quest right yet because it's about wild, so it's fine. Yes, you do. I believe you get it. Let me check. Okay, so it depends like which stat. So see this, the at 2 you get defense, and then oh shit. And then at 3 you get this one, and then at 4 I get this one. So you can technically mix things together at lower levels, but realistically you just want 4 for the full set really. I've got a unicorn, which is actually not that bad because it gives us health. But let's see if we can hatch a fox. Maybe one day we will hatch a fox. But yeah, I don't think the set parts are adjusted to like encourage mixing different sets together. So if there is, let's say, a combination that technically has more stats by mixing 2 separate sets, I would say that should probably be reported and then adjusted rather than used by the players. So, but I think it's just for like during the leveling phase you could do that. But like let's say for after you hit dungeons, you don't want to do that, I think. It would be nice to get a full 105 set, because the full 105 sets don't, I can't craft them, they're only droppable, so that's kind of annoying. Set bonuses that will change the gameplay of the class. I don't think so, no. You'd have to like do some fancy coding things to make it useful. It's just like different updates, different stats from Flyff things. It's pretty default. The only thing that really changes the gameplay of the class would be different expansions. So, for example, what's a good example? Maybe for like Ranger, when you get the expansion, you'll get Condor Dive, which makes your AoE combination different because now you can just spam Condor Dive instead of using Ice Arrow, Fire Arrow, for example. In PvP, for example, for Jester at 120, your combination will be like vital stab plus hop to kill people. With the 135 expansion, you're going to get like the projectile pandemonium thing, which will be like your new combo to use the pandemonium and then use your hit of Penya at the right timing. So in that sense, sometimes, especially in PvP, the gameplay of a class might change between expansions, and the balance might change to account for that. Maybe maybe skills will be like old skills that might be able to be used might be disabled to like account for that. In PvE, I think it's more just like you get more tools, but you won't change your major gameplay. Yeah. Is there a scroll to jump back to pet level when you try? Yes, there are scrolls to adjust the pet levels, the usual ones. The one thing that is different in Emerald with pets is that there's a minimum level for each tier. So you know in default Flyff, the worst pet you get is like a 11111. In Emerald, the worst pet you can get is like a 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 or something, or 4, 6, 7, something like that. So there's like, even if you get all the worst luck, you have a decent pet, but you won't have like the perfect pet. So there's less RNG when it comes to leveling up a perfect pet in that case. Do you need cooldown reduction for BP PvP skill? No, I don't think so. There's like just a default cooldown on ASL, and that's fine. There's no like cooldown reduction here, so it's just a default. It's all set to a specific cooldown. The only thing that has like differing cooldowns is that the ultimate skills at 150 get a lower cooldown based on the level you achieve, because they can be from level 1 to 5. That's the only place where cooldowns are adjusted, basically. I think the cooldown at the moment on ASL is 11 seconds, which should be short enough to be good for PvP and also good for PvE. So should be good. Is there an F tool in game? There is. Yes, we have here under custom features F tool. You can choose which of the buttons it will press and on what cooldown, and you can enable or disable it. It's nice for automatically using your food or maybe a healing thing. So yeah, you can use it if you want. You're not supposed to use it to do AFK farming though. So please don't do that. It has magical auto attacks, but not mana rewards, so it's not mana scaling. It does have magical auto attacks that deal magical damage and scale off int, use magical damage percentage, all that stuff. But it's not mana scaling. What do you mean with PvP pointing system? What do you mean with pointing system? I'm not sure what that means. Fair enough, yeah. I think mana reward is like an Eclipse or Chrono thing, no? So that? You mean the shutdown and the kill streaks? Yes, those are still the same in Emeralds. You have the bonuses and the special rewards if you go on kill streaks, and also the bonus points if you kill someone who is on a kill streak and shut them down. That is still a thing in Siege, yes. I think we tried it out in Madrigal, but because of the PvP balance in Madrigal, it wasn't as popular. Because PvP in Emerald is a bit more chaotic, I think it's okay here. It's not as, let's say, like try hard, I guess. It's a bit more casual and chaotic, so I'm happy to have some like wacky things in PvP, especially as the more skills are added. There'll be more like untraditional skills, let's say, in PvP. So yeah, if you want like an extremely traditional PvP experience, you probably won't find it here. I mean, of course, like ASL will be there, Hop will be there, you know, the usual things. But there'll be also a bit more like unnatural or like new things, I guess, just to make it a bit more interesting and more fun, and also make it more casual for everyone. Um, so it might not be for everyone, but it was decently enjoyed in the previous version, so it should be okay. I think we can try to do some dungeons soon. The only downside is that dungeons don't give me experience. Um, I would really like to be able to do like at least a few before I go have my dinner, which is I'm probably gonna go in like 1 hour or so, 30 minutes, depending on how it goes. Maybe I can just skip myself to 120 and then do some dungeons. What do you mean? You have VIP already. You don't need mod. I don't think so. No, don't worry, class. I'm trying to think how I can boost myself to 120. Let me take a look 1 second. Just so I can do some dungeons, because I think we've seen the leveling for now. I mean, it's not going to be any different than it is at the moment. So you're gonna hear double music for a little bit. 1 second. Stop our account. All right. Uh, Join the. Can I not join my party? All right. Let's go back to town. Let's get power leveled by an admin real quick. Uh, Where is he? Where is the admin? All right. One second, let me look up a monster to spawn. Where are the Tricia? There we go. Let's see if this gives me EXP. Alright, 115. 16. 17. I know, but I don't want to make my character admin, that's why. Because I have to log out, I have to edit in database. It's a whole thing. Okay, this is good enough. Oh, one more actually. Oh wait. Okay, so now we're 120. Why would I be able to spawn monsters without being admin? No, the other guy is spawning monsters, not me. I mean, it's also me, but it's like... I don't think I need it. No, that's cheating. We'll be okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the mines. Because that will be a good place to start. So let's say you're level 120. You leveled up. Normally I would say just level... yeah, sure. Normally I would say go to 120 master. But if you have some time to try it out at 120, might as well. This is pretty tricky, pretty difficult. I think the damage is kinda high. So let's see how much damage they do to me now. 2k, okay. So probably gonna skip the small ones for now because I think they do too much damage. Because we're not here for them. We're here for the bosses and for the crystals. I mean, if you were like slightly more geared, you can do this. Like an AoE will give you like a million or so, which is pretty decent. So this is the first boss. What you want to do is you want to get these. So these are just level 1s. You just kill the crystals and they drop you a bunch of materials. And you will need these. We can probably kill this one, I think. Maybe. Oh, he does do 7k damage. Oh, he does a lot of damage. I mean, maybe we can do this with some healing. Can I root him? No, he's immune to rooting because he's a boss. Great. I mean, our damage is pretty good, but he hits like a truck. Can we make it? Alright, the ringmaster buff from really helps this one. Okay, so this drops me 1 copper bar, which gives me 750k. Oh shit, I need party skills. Yeah, you're right. And there's 3 bosses in the dungeon, and the last one gives 2 copper bars, I believe. So you'll get 3 million from the 3 bosses in the dungeon itself, and then you can get like another 2 to 3 million from all the small monsters around, I believe. Maybe more if you get all of them. It also kind of depends on how you want to time your runs. I can't get all of these. At the moment, I'm just going to be here for these. And get the materials. I probably need like 3 or 4 runs. Oh, we're gonna look, it didn't drop anything there. That's insane. And then it is important to also go over here, which is a bit far away, but this is where all the goodies really are. There we go, and then we just find a decent spot. It's a bit annoying to do this, but there we go, and then we go here. Oh, that's a nice one. So let's just clear this one. So what I really want is I want at least to get the, no, not the bed, maybe the drawer, definitely the dresser, definitely the long chair, maybe the table, and definitely the wardrobe. So I need 5 and 5. So I have 2, 10, 5. I think I need 1 more run at least. Lock this and actually, oh, we got 3 parts of this. That's very good. Dismantle those. Oh. Yeah, so now, because we don't want to do the bosses, we're just going to leave and then we're just going to go back in. And because the cooldown is only 1 minute, it will have reset and we can do it again. And I would say this is not like time efficient way. I'm just kind of doing this because I can. And to show you guys all the different parts, of course. But yeah, in the actual launch, I would just recommend continue leveling to go to 120. You probably won't have enough upgrades to really do this very confidently or effectively, and even if you can run it, the money you gain, you're not gonna need until after you're 120 anyway, so not as much reason to really do this before your max level. But it is an option. So I think we're gonna do maybe 2 or 3 more runs, make some furniture, and maybe try out a wilds. Really need some more health, to be honest, to do any of these dungeons confidently. Yeah, awakening low level stuff is not very valuable. The price of awakening does scale with the level of the item, so low level items are cheaper to awaken, um, but not that cheap. So because he's in a good spot, we could probably do this guy as well. He does a bit more damage than the other one, but I think low enough for me to be able to do it. With some proper heal timings and some luck. Get pretty good DPS, to be honest. I feel like my damage is quite high. When I did this as a ringmaster, I feel like my damage was so much lower. So that's nice. Yeah, the last one of the dungeon is stronger, but it does have more drops as well. I did adjust the drops a little bit. I know that in V2 a lot of people would do the first two bosses and then not do the last one because he is a bit further away. But now I made the drops, I give the last one double drops basically, so hopefully that will encourage people to do the other one as well. So it's pretty good here. Well, I adjusted them back to 120 values. Almost all the monsters in the current version are like readjusted again. So, alright, so we can make this one. We only have 5 wood, so we can only make one with the blocks. If we don't want this one, we could make this one. Okay, we can make all 3 that we want. So only 2 runs per unit, which is very easy to be honest. 2 runs, 2 to 3 runs, and you're like done for at least a week. Wait, wrong menu. These higher level ones, these will unlock based on the expansion. So on launch, you'll have only the blue ones. After one expansion, you will get the advanced ones. You need to make the blue ones and then upgrade it with more materials. And then after the last expansion, you get the 14-day one, which you need the other previous one, and even more materials. So you do want to keep stacking these materials over time. Automatically insert if you have them in. Oh, like if you go to crafting, they automatically grab. I'm not sure. I mean, I could probably try to figure that out. But it's so satisfying to click it and you hear like a little ting. Don't want to miss out on that. Alright, and also of course don't forget to actually go inside your house and place your furniture. I know there's some people who might not know this. Silly of them. Alright, so now we have the stats. We have 10% attack and 10% PvE damage, so that's significantly decent damage, even at low level. Don't need this yet. Don't need this. We have 109, that's decent scrap, but not that much. So we got some quests for exploring the dungeons, just to kind of help you guide things. One of them has a kind of outdated reward. I might have to update. This one we don't want to do. This one I don't know if we really need to do. Well, the weapon box might. This one the data changes reward. It's not very useful. I think this is old still from previous Emerald. Anything else? I mean, we can also start to do this quest soon. This is a repeatable quest that will give you pet lives based on dungeon runs. So you need, oh, actually no, it gives you scrolls. This is the wrong quest. So every free Molten Arena and free Red Meteorniker you get 10 extra S Protect and 10 G Protect. So this is just like a repeatable quest that you can do. I believe this is the one that has the pet life quest. Yes, so if you cannot afford VIP or don't want to buy for it, if you die when your pet is active, it will lose its 1 life. It has, then if you die again and it's at 0 lives, it will permanently die. It doesn't have any HP draining or food needed, but if you die when it's active, it dies. So you want to get pet energy, which you can make with this repeatable quest. You need to kill 150 Captain Asurus. You need to collect 15 Dragon's Blood from Meteorniker, and you need to defeat 4 Crystal Guardians from the Crystal Mines. And you'll get a pet energy, and you can do this as much as you want on repeat. So you don't need pet feed, you don't need to make pet, like there's no option to make pet foods. You can revive a pet if it dies with the Emerald token. There's pet revival B, A, and S. And then of course you can also do the re-rolling of pet if needed. So yeah, let's see. We can try Savage Wilds. It's probably not going to go well, but if we use our consumables, we're going to have 22k HP, and then it should be decent. But I'm going to get wrecked here, just so you know. I'm going to avoid most of these guys, and then if we have to take a few, we will take them, and then we'll just hope that we don't die. I'm using the wrong skill because my bar is not set up for AoEing. So yeah, so I'm just going to avoid most of these. Try to aggro as least amount as possible. I mean, we have decent HP, but we have limited healing. I think Khan will do like 5 to 7.5k per hit. Double hits, so about 10k each. Jester and PvE, I would have to check. I haven't done a Jester PvE run yet. Could play him on stream as well. Oh, this is starting to get dicey. They also slow me down, which is not great. I would say it's not amazing in PvE, but 1v1 should be pretty decent. AoE abilities are not that great for it in Jester. But it's pretty good at 1v1 DPS, especially because you can use Hit of Penya with the combo for pretty good burst. But yeah, I would probably have to play him on stream as well to kind of like see how it feels. Okay, so far it's not that difficult. You just have to avoid the red guys. Yeah, I think the Jester skills are pretty fun to play at least. So let's just go around here. Just trying to avoid as many of these as possible. Can we go back here? Oh, we can. Nice. So raised pets are disabled in PvP, but picker pets or buff pets, once you get the beads, they are enabled. But you cannot swap them around. So you have to make one dedicated buff pet with your beads of choice, damage, HP, or whatever you want, a combination of both, and use that in PvP. I mean, you can use a different one after you die, but once you summon it and are in the arena, you cannot swap it anymore. So it's kind of up to you how you want to build that character. So we're just gonna do that. I am not full int. I think I have like 75-ish stamina, maybe a bit more, maybe 80-ish, and the rest is an int. So I'm not full int now. If I was full int, I would be struggling even more, I think, because I'm already using 2 HP consumables. So, I mean, I'm very low level to do this. I'm very under gear to do this. This is like the bare minimum really to be able to do this, I would say. Once you're at 120 master, you'll have like a bunch more stats. It'll make it a bit easier. Once you get a buff pad, or at least like 2 beats maybe, you get some more upgrades, maybe some more set upgrades, more damage, more HP. This is like the bare minimum to be able to sustain this. I don't think I can root him, to be honest. Okay, so this is doable but tricky. So one thing that is smart is to let your health drop low enough to get the Ringmaster Inner Flame buff to trigger, because that will increase your resistances for a certain amount of time by like about 10%. Of course, you'll need the VIP to get the Iron buff, or have like a Ringmaster to buff you in town or something. Oh, we're getting kind of close to death. Do a little bit of kiting here to give me just that extra time to heal up. And hope he does his single attack, not his double. Luckily the HP pool is relatively low, so it doesn't take that long to kill. He's just a bit dangerous. Okay, good. We get some blocks going, got some lucky blocks. It helps us a lot. Bosses can crit, and there is also rage in bosses. Alright, we got 2 scrolls. Okay, we got some things, not super amazing. We got a regular demo and a regular core necklace. And a potion recipe. So they can crit. Bosses have, I think, a default of 10% crit rate all across the board, and they do like 15% more damage for the crit, so not that bad. They do have rage, which is different for each boss. Let's see this one. Let's see Bigfoot. Mr. Bigfoot has no rage in this case, but all the bosses do have rage, so that's nice. And there is mechanics in later bosses, but not the early ones. So Red Meteor Niger has like very simple mechanics. And then these 3 have a bit more advanced mechanics, and then all the expansion stuff has all mechanics. No mechanics in Wilds, no mechanics in Molten Arena, and no mechanics in Crystal Mines. Yeah. Let me check some. 100 mil looks insane for one try, and I think we drop like 4 or 5 mil per crystal run. One try, you mean the pet thing, or which try? I didn't really see that one. But you don't need that many You probably don't need that one until like later in the end game where you have a lot of money, because even the worst pet is relatively good. Um, like I think the worst pet gives you like 50 plus 50 stats and maybe a perfect one plus 75 or something, or maybe even closer. So even if you get the worst possible pet from S rank, you'll get pretty decent stats. So that should be okay. So we can upgrade this one. We'll just dismantle that. We don't need this because we dismantle it. Boots. We already had a boot, so we don't need it. My inventory is getting kind of messy, but that's fine. I don't need this anymore, I think. That's fine. These are quest things. What did we drop? We got a recklessness potion recipe. Don't think I can afford to make that yet. Critical chance. Okay, it's more for critical classes, not really for me. But you know, you could always sell it or something. And we got some scrolls, which is gives some mania. Yeah. That's why. Oh, you want to see this token shop, right? Yeah, let me show that because you weren't here earlier. So the token shop, you will mainly be spending it, I would think, on the beads every 7 days. You can also stack the beads together. So if you have like a buff pad, you can pre-stack it up to like 30 days or 90 days or something like that. Maybe 30 days. So you can buy multiple beads, stack them together so the duration stacks up and not worry about it for like a few months. I think that will be like the main thing you'll spend tokens on is either the beads and the Remantis. I don't think you can get Remantis from any crafting or NPC. You can get it from different like boxes that you find from different dungeons. So you could get it from the faction battlegrounds, I believe. This is not updated. I have to change this, by the way. This is out of date. You don't get A cards in battlegrounds at 120. You only get it afterwards. So you would probably spend the tokens on that. You might spend it on the classes if you want to save up a bunch of them, but it's not easy to do. If you farm a lot of world bosses, you can get it eventually. If you buy it from other players, you can get it. If you get this, you'll be set for like at least 150, I think, because even in the 135 expansion, you will get these masks. You could either get the MP one. This is only for build posters in PvP, so very niche. This is a tank glasses. You can get that, or you can get the PvP glasses. So these three unlock at 135 hero expansion. You do get a couple glasses at level 20 couple, so that's like a decent one you'll get just for having a couple level up, which I think you can show you as well. I just go to the wiki. So when you get the couple, you get the free buff pet, I think, or no, pick a pet, not buff pet. You get this cloak, which is pretty decent, but not amazing. It's better combat-wise, I think, than this one. But this one is better for leveling up, which is from the quest. And you get this Alstat 12 glasses, which is like the only really accessible glasses. This is the only other glasses you can get, but it's quite expensive. And then for PvP, you'll get like one of these in the expansion. Maybe for tanks you'll get one of these, but they're not that relevant otherwise. And then other cloaks that you can get are mainly these ones during the expansion, but at the launch version you will have the copper cloak. If you're a PvPer, you'll probably get the Cloak of Bravery eventually. It's really good, it's really strong, 20% HP, 12% damage. You might even want this for PvE if just for the HP, but it's quite expensive to get 2k assets. Since you get like 100 to 120 per PvP boat and maybe like up to 750 if you do really well in Siege, I think. I need to check. I don't know the exact caps of how much you earn. So actually I think in Siege there is no cap anymore. So in Siege you can earn as much red essence as you want as long as you're scoring well. I just don't know how much you'll earn on a big siege on average because it's been a long time. So if you do like a couple of good sieges, you'll probably get this after a week or two maybe. And then these other ones are a bit more affordable. And you can also get your flasks here pretty easily if you want to do that. There's not one per day, but it's like 5 per week. One on two on Saturday, one on Sunday, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and one on Friday, I think. I'm gonna make a post with all like the schedule of stuff. Same for the PvP features, which is free for all, which the next one starts in 14 hours. I don't think that's correct. I need to check that as well. And the next one on this starts in 3 hours. Anything else for now? Because I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream, get some dinner, and then maybe stream again a different class and do some actual dungeons with some actual gear, maybe in a few hours. But that's undetermined. I might do that tomorrow. Actually, I'll probably do that tomorrow. I think. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Um, yeah, I can take a look at that so they don't get consumed on the PvP modes and only on Siege. I'd be down with that. Um, the remnants are also relatively cheap, but yeah, I think I can do that. I'll make a note. Let me write it down right now. PvP consume. I can do the same for Holy Scrolls as well, so just Holy and Rementis. Well, it takes like 30 minutes to do the PvP, right? Because you have to wait for the mode to end, you have to be invested, you have to have decent gear to actually participate. You have to score, so the amount of like rewards you will get will scale with how well you are in PvP. Um, so it's not just like free money for everyone. I mean, there's of course like a base participation reward, but it's not as high as like you know being well. And there's also caps to how much you can earn. So in PvP, regular PvP modes, I can look it up real quick. Um, for Siege, I haven't finalized the Siege rewards yet for the amounts, let's say. The NPC is ready, but like the amount you earn in Siege is not ready yet. So that I can't say yet. So for free for all, you get 150 maximum of the chips, and for TDM, oh, I think it's the same. I think for TDM you get also 150, but it's separated between personal score and team score. So 75 is for team score and 75 for personal score. And then the cap is the same. The same as actually the cap is 125 for TDM and 150 for Conquest. But yeah. Alright, very nice. Welcome back. So 125 is I think they're valued at 1 million each. So you'll get 125 million maximum, but you do need to score pretty well for that. And how much you can score depends on the size of the player base, how many people are joining, how much gear they have. So it's not like a consistent way to earn money. It might be a good way to earn money if you're good at PvP, but it's not the same as like the crystal mines where it's consistently, how much you're earning every run, give or take, and every run how long it takes. So it's just like consistent things. You have to be aligned for the PvP mode. You have to sign up in time. You might miss it, and stuff happens. So yeah. That's why I think it's okay to reward them a decent amount, because it also encourages people to play. So we can sell these to the NPC. I mean, we don't need the eggs for rolling. Most other stuff is not really worth anything. I mean, the recipe is actually worth a little bit, so sell that. Yeah, any other questions maybe before I close the stream? Otherwise, I will wrap it up for tonight, and then probably stream again tomorrow. Don't know exactly when, but I'll make an announcement on the Discord. So, just gonna sit here for a bit. Yeah, and also you get a little bit of energy for joining PvP as well. Just a small amount, only 50 for TDM and Conquest, nothing for FFA because FFA is a bit controversial. But I think, let's say you get pretty good at Crystal Mines, you do a run every 3 minutes. 3 is actually pretty slow, to be honest. Let's say 2 minutes. That means you can do 30 runs an hour times like 4 mil, 120 mil an hour. It's pretty decent. Maybe you could do even more depending on like what kind of setup or build you're going, or optimizations, because I'm not like an expert on these kind of optimizations. So, you know, I imagine people will be earning like 100 to 150 an hour on average, maybe. Desert Caverns unlocks with the 135 expansion, so yeah, that will also increase how much money you'll earn, because that one is slightly better than Crystal Mines. I still have to kind of finalize the balance between those two. Make sure Desert Caverns isn't too broken in terms of money gain, but yeah. You can see here, there we go, Desert Caverns, yeah. Any specific class that might be nice to stream next? Maybe I'm thinking either Elementor or Jester might be fun. I've already played Blade and Ringmaster. I've played Knight already. Well, I haven't really played. I've played Sword Knight, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's phase 2, expansion 1. I guess how you want to phrase it. Yeah, so it's the first expansion, which is the second phase, I guess. Of course, phase 1 is like the launch content. A few other things that you could farm together, for example, is if you farm the crystals or the metal hearts from Ezria, you could get yourself a picker pet. So you could farm for Yeti or a Algu or a skeleton. You can also farm in Trezea. You can farm for the Trezea picker pets up here, and even, oh my god, you can get this one. Okay, yeah. So you can farm these for the quest items. I believe there was also one for Asurus, but I don't see it here, so maybe that's incorrect. Yeah, that's one of the things. You can do the challenge, the repeatable quests here. So for the faction stuff, I can kind of briefly go over how the factions work. So when you create a character, you have to choose which faction you want to join. They practically give identical stats, so what you join is mostly just like a flavor thing, or like all my guild goes together in this faction thing. It will give you a free faction set, the faction set, and also a cloak with a little bit of stats. So the cloak stats change based on the faction, but it's very minor. But you'll probably replace the cloak very fast with the quest cloak that you're gonna get anyway. Then you have a specific faction level, which you can see here, starting out with faction level 1. You need to be, well, you might like pre-play with like your guild members from like, you know, you're already friends with someone else. You can swap factions afterwards as well. In the community tab, you can have two menus, the faction overview and the faction buffs. Here. So you start at level 1. You need to earn reputation to level up your faction. You do this mostly by just defeating bosses. So every boss gets you like 1 reputation at the moment. During the expansion, you'll get a dedicated faction dungeon that you can do here, which earns you a large amount of reputation at once. So then you'll progress the faction levels a lot faster. Your faction cap is also changed per expansion. So at the moment, the maximum level is 10. After 135, it goes up to 25, and then it goes up to 50, which is the max level at the moment. And leveling up costs you some money. Every time you level up, you get these faction tokens as rewards as well. The same faction tokens also drop in the faction dungeon here, which is the ones you get. These faction tokens can be used at your faction leader. You can go here, you can exchange them for drop scroll crates, which is a paid item, so that's pretty nice to have. You can get those. They're pretty expensive to get through PvE, but it's the only way to really get them through PvE. Or you can get one of these mystery fashion sets, which is like a fashion set you can get. So that's how you level up the factions. Then you have faction stats as well. So based on your level, you'll get some bonus stats. These go automatically on and off in both PvE and PvP, so they do apply to PvP as well. At the moment I'm level 1, I get 4% PvE damage and 4% HP. As my faction level highes, I get more things. So then that's like the main personal faction stuff. You can also buy faction buffs, but they unlock as you go over, and they cost tokens. And they last for 1 hour, give you PvE bonuses basically. Mostly PvE damage, Penya rates and other stuff. So these automatically get revealed once you have the appropriate faction level. And then there's the whole faction... this is blocking the sketch, sorry. Faction fighting each other mechanic, let's say. So how that works is there's a pool of 5,000 points in the server, and whenever someone from a faction does something faction related that earns them reputation, the equal amount of points are granted to that faction. So at the moment Raider has 3,095 points, Guardian has 1405 points. If I were to like kill a boss in a dungeon somewhere and I earn 1 reputation, 1 point will be deducted from the Raider score and granted to the Guardian score. So that means that depending on how the server kind of plays and how everyone works together, let's say, the score fluctuates. And what this does is this affects the global buff for all faction members. So if your faction is winning or losing, it will give different bonuses. So because the Guardians are losing by a big margin, I'm currently receiving, I'll disappear for a second because it's refreshing. I need to update that, I think, to be a bit slower, but just wait for it to reappear. Wait for it to come. Come back, Buff. I need you. I don't know why it went away. It's taking a long time to go back. It was just, there we go, okay. So our faction is losing, so we gain more PvE damage to be able to clear things faster. If your faction is winning, you get more Penya rewards and you get more EXP. So these are like very minor things, so they don't affect the balance of the server too much. It's only PvE things, doesn't affect PvP. So this is kind of like something that kind of keeps swaying back and forth. So like you might log in one day, your faction is winning. You log in a second day, your faction is losing. It's just kind of like an extra little battle thing. And then there's also the treasury of each faction. So I think this is easier showed if I swap to an admin character. So 1 second, I'm gonna hide this. Just gonna swap to an admin character so I can actually show you the other things, because it costs a lot of money basically. Just logging out. Oh wait. We are on our admin, so let's teleport to Flyff. So if you don't want to get reputation by doing dungeons, or you have a lot of money doing 120 expansion like launch, and you want to get more reputation faster, you can also pay money to your faction to get reputation. So I can go to donate to faction. I need to update this window, it's not very accurate yet, but one reputation amount costs 10 millions. In this case I give 4 because there's some modifiers going on. I need to update the window to accurately reflect that. So what I can do is I can pay some money to get some reputation, pay 100 mil. No, that's just pay like a bunch of money. I think it's like 9, I don't know what the cap is, like a 50? Yeah. So now I'm paying like a bunch of money. Then if I go to the faction overview, you can now see that I have 6 Baron and 90 mil in the treasury of the Guardians. It also has swayed the score a little bit, because every time you donate faction stuff, it also gives you more score. And it also gives my reputation. Now I can't level up properly because I'm an admin, so if I press level up, I will just level up because I'm an admin. But what this treasury does, you can build a statue for your faction. And anyone can press this button at any time. But the one thing is that you do need the faction battlegrounds to be open, because the statue is actually a physical object in the faction battlegrounds. It opens in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, that's not great. It would be great if it was open, but the way it works is you build a statue, it spawns inside the faction battlegrounds, it gives a global buff to everyone in that faction. But the thing is, it can be destroyed by the opposing faction whenever the battlegrounds opens. When it's destroyed by the opposing faction, you will lose your statue buff, which is one thing, and money from the treasury will be granted to people who destroy the statue. So what happens in the factional battlegrounds is people can spawn in, and it's basically like an open PvP zone where you can run around. There are some neutral bosses that you can kill, a neutral statue boss with some drops. Both factions can attack it. And there's also a faction dragon that you gotta protect or attack. You can only attack the faction dragon of the other faction. There's also a few other items that are just lying on the ground that you can pick up, which says quest for here. So there's a few faction quests here. So this one wants some new tools, and I think this one wants something else. This one wants some dragon hunt, and this one wants token hunt. Oh, this one's not set up, never mind that. So there's a bunch of faction quests that you can do. These also all give faction reputation. So these, well, they actually give, some give reputation, some give other items. So this one gives reputation. So for this one you have to kill the Raider Dragon twice. For this one you have to find some items that are only spawning in the battlegrounds. They are tradable, so you can buy them from players too. This one requires you to get token of hunt, which at the moment is not possible yet. I need to adjust that a little bit. And you can also kill other players in the factional battlegrounds. Whenever you kill other players, I believe you will also earn reputation for that and tokens. I need to double check that because it's been a while since I done the faction combat. It's basically just like regular PvP in an open world. All the standard PvP skills and modifiers are active. You can swap. It's treated just the same as like any other PvP environment, let's say. And you can kill other people. There's a dedicated faction chat that's like active in the chat, so you can talk to only your faction members. You can attack the statue if it's possible. You can do other objectives there. The way it works is that on a timer, the faction battlegrounds will basically open for 1 hour. You can drop in, drop out anytime you want. When you spawn in, you have to like run back to your faction base to teleport out, or close the client, I guess, just so people don't like teleport in and out all the time. There are some limitations to when you can join in terms of like amount of people, so there's like to make sure there's a balanced amount of people in the battlegrounds. So if there's like 5 Guardian members and like 10 Raider members and you're a Raider, you cannot join the battlegrounds because it will be too unbalanced with the amount of people fighting each other. But if it's about 50-50 with some margins, you can still join. So for like an entire hour you can drop in, you can fight each other, you can hunt some side objectives, or you can just go down for like 5 minutes, go out again. Usually the dragon respawns I think every 30 minutes or so, so maybe you could do it twice in one go. Don't know for sure. There's some other statues that only spawn once every few hours, so it's only there during the opening. So when it opens you want to get in there quickly because the first bosses will be defeated relatively quickly. The rest of the time is just there to do like PvP stuff basically. And yeah, you want to defend your statue. If your statue is under attack, you'll get like a system message that like you'll be able to defend yourself. I might make some like videos to kind of showcase how all that works, but yeah, that's kind of how it works, and it's like kind of the unique PvP PvE mixed feature in Emerald. So yeah, so that went on a bit longer than expected. Let me check. What is the cost of a guild scroll? I think it's 100 mil. Yes, it's 100 mil. So if you pull this together, you can get this within a day with your friends. If you do it alone, you might need like a little bit more time, but 100 mil should be doable within like 1 to 2 days, especially if you have friends pulling it together. Alright, any final questions before I wrap up the stream? I'll probably stream again tomorrow around the same time, like late afternoon. I'm thinking of doing either Jester or Elementor. I might be doing Jester for like dungeons. I'll skip myself to like get some decent gear so I can do dungeons. Just 120 dungeons, like launch dungeons, not like expansion stuff. Maybe I'll update the server to be only 120 master. Yeah, I think I'll do doing Jester and focus on doing all the different dungeons. Maybe if someone else can join to do some thinking for me, but I don't know if anyone will be available who has test server access. But we'll check. Maybe they want to join me. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well in that case I will wrap up the stream for now. Thank you all for joining and asking questions. We'll probably do this again tomorrow, but to be sure I'll make a Discord announcement if I do. You should be able to watch the VOD as well for a couple of days at least. Maybe I can download it or something and upload it on YouTube actually, so we'll take a look at that. And yeah, thank you all for joining and see you next time.